about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be.
Hello, and welcome to DLS, the Distinguished Lecture on Sexuality and Marriage.
Let's talk about all the good things and the
Today's lecture is going to be over marriage customs and cultures. There's a large variation in the cultural norms for many different groups of people. There's arranged marriages versus what's considered like a love marriage, and an arranged marriage is where the family picks the mate for the boy or the girl, the bride or the groom, and the bride and groom have little to very no say in their arrangement. There's also patriarchal versus matriarchal marriages. A patriarchal is where the man is head of household, he makes all the decisions, versus a matriarch where the woman makes the decisions and she's the head of household. Kyrgyzstan is a patriarchal society where women are seen as property, they're only a wife, they're there to serve the man, that's their purpose. Versus the Masu culture, women are in what's considered a walking marriage, where one day they can be married to someone and the next day they decide they just don't want to be married. Another topic that kind of goes along with the marriage customs is female genital mutilation, which is the practice of partially or totally removing female genitalia in order to have more control over what the women and girls' sexuality and how they use their body and how their body is perceived. Our research showed that a majority of the households, whether considered matriarchal or patriarchal, had a more shared status for their head of household, where both parents equally shared some of the responsibility. But our scope was not large enough to assume this for the whole student body because we weren't able to reach certain groups of people, and our scope was really narrow.
baby. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you.
So we conducted a survey, and this is some of the results and the data that we discovered from the people that we questioned. We asked them if they understood the difference between a patriarchal and a matriarchal household, and the overwhelming majority said they did. Only one person said they did not. We also asked whether or not they had themselves grown up in a patriarchal or matriarchal, or neither. And over a third said that they didn't grow up in either. They had parents that shared responsibilities pretty equally. But after that, there was a slightly larger percentage said that they did grow up in a patriarchal household. And then of the people that grew up in a patriarchal or a matriarchal, that didn't mean that they had the other parent that was not part of their life. They were still very much present, very much involved. They just were not like the head of the household that some people might see. We also discovered that the majority of marriages that do take place are out of romance and love, and very few take place because of an arrangement that their parents had set up for them, and not out of love or romance or any type of anything other than commitment. A lot of people said that it would be looked upon as unfair if they were part of an arranged marriage. Only one person said that they did have parents themselves that were part of an arranged marriage. Other than that, the overwhelming majority said their parents were very much in love, it was out of romance, all that kind of stuff. They also believe that religion or lack thereof was a very the deciding factor in marriages, and why a lot of people do get married is because you have the same religion, or it's really important in your lifestyle, that kind of stuff. And they also said that the majority of people that get married, you are married typically by the time you are 30. Between your 20 to 30 range is when the majority of people get married nowadays.
Let's talk about you and me.
We want to make sure to compare our survey with other research that has already been conducted. So the first major thing that we found in the survey was that there was no really agreed upon family structure. And so that goes along well with an article written by a lot of scholars at Concordia University that said there really is no consistent definition of the American family, and they concluded that from a lot of research themselves. For instance, a survey in 2005 called the American Community Survey said that 50% of marriages were unmarried, and other things contributing to the family structure would be the evolution of the family from the beginning of the U.S., that America is a melting pot of cultures and therefore changes the family structure, and a sexual revolution in World War II will play a big role in it as well. Second, we found that religion does play a big role in marriage, and not necessarily the family structure, but in marriage itself. In our survey, a lot of people said that they didn't have a given family structure, but they did admit, over 50% said that religion did play a major role in their family. So in an article written by Oxford University in their Social Forces Journal. It says that researchers have found that the religious participation of people is correlated with marital satisfaction. So that goes well with our research as well.
Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things.
All right, does anyone have any questions? Yes.
So was it difficult to conduct this research, like to the whole campus and student body, and get it an accurate reading for everybody?
It was fairly easy to conduct sex research. We basically just came up with some questions that were good for the survey, and then we put them into a Google form and sent it out to our peers. It was kind of difficult to find people that were different, had different views than our own, because we sent it out to our close personal friends and peers and classmates, and they generally kind of have the same opinions as us. And so our results are probably a little bit skewed because of that. And we couldn't get a big enough scope to send it out to everyone in A&M to represent A&M's student body.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex, baby.
What I learned through our survey was that a majority of the people knew the difference between a matriarchal and patriarchal marriage and the cultural differences that came with that. In my career as a future nurse, I think that I can use this information learned from this project to see how treatment may have to be redirected to be given different ways based on different cultural preferences or cultural norms.
What I learned from this project is that there are a large variety of different marriage cultures throughout the world, and not only is there a large variety, but typically the majority of people get married before age 30. I also learned that although the people that we surveyed said that they didn't grow up in either a matriarchal or a patriarchal household, we had a very small sample size, so that might not be a very accurate depiction of the university as a whole. This will relate to my future as a healthcare professional, and I will also use this information I gathered to constantly remind myself that no matter what patient I have, some of them might have a different religion or belief or culture than I do, and even though I might feel strongly against it, it is not my place to give them my personal belief. I have to be respectful of the differences between us, and they're still my patient, and my job is to help them in their improve their quality of life, not give them advice.
This class has really taught me the importance of sexuality and especially how applicable it is to everyone. So this project has really shown me the diversity of the family structure in the U.S. and especially how it correlates well with the history of the U.S. also. So as the U.S. has evolved, so has the family structure, which is super interesting to note and really important to note too. So for me, I really want to be a nurse or a PA. So when I'm dealing with patients, it's going to be super important for me to note that not everyone comes from the same background and to not assume anything about anyone. And I really want to go abroad eventually in Africa as a nurse. And so knowing the different extremes of things like female genital mutilation will really help me know and understand these things before I go and treat them with care and with sensitivity.
So what I learned from doing this research topic was the prevalence of genital mutilation and arranged marriages in other countries and civilizations. I had no idea that that was a thing that happened all the time. And after doing this research, I realized the difference in what people consider normal in their societies, because I was so used to just realizing what we think is normal in our society and not really branching out my thoughts into what other people call normal. This project relates to me as a healthcare professional because I'm going to interact with all different kinds of people that are from different backgrounds from me and different religions and cultures. I will use this information to properly assess and treat my patients and have an understanding of their beliefs and backgrounds without using my own in the process.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you